I got cold after doing the other two videos, so now I'm back in my jacket. What's up, guys? I'm Devin, your friendly neighborhood board gamer, and this is Devin Talks Tabletop, a YouTube series where the games are made up, and what I say doesn't matter. This is the Games I Got series. I'm talking about Brass Birmingham. I have already talked about Gloomhaven and Black Rose Wars today. Maybe you've seen those videos. If you haven't, go check them out. But today, I'm going to talk about Brass Birmingham. And it's cold, so I'm warming myself up. And I've already talked about in other videos how I'm the kind of person who doesn't change somebody else's thermostat. So I'm just going to be cold. I'm just going to be cold today. Brass Birmingham. When I first started reviewing board games, one of the first publishers that I reached out to that was more than generous, wonderful to work with, and just good people was Roxley. Shout out to Paul Saxbergs. You're an awesome person. And shout out to the Roxley team. You guys make beautiful games. They sent me Brass Birmingham and Brass Lancaster, which I have gotten rid of Brass Lancaster. Not because I didn't like it. I liked it. I just felt like it was redundant to have both of them in my collection. And I know that there's like an argument there, like, no, they have differences to them. Not enough to justify being in a collection that I try to keep under 150 games, which I'm currently under 150 games. I feel like last year I was like, I try to keep them around 100 games. I've given up on that. I'm going to try to keep it under 150. Maybe that'll last a year or two. But I didn't feel the need to keep it. I also liked the beer in Brass Birmingham. And it's the one that I think is more fun to me. I also maybe just gravitate towards it because I love Peaky Blinders, the show from Netflix. And so, yeah, all of that to say, this is a game I've had for a little bit. I got to play it recently again at Christmas time, and it was still good. There was a reason other than the game that I didn't care for an aspect of it, and I'll get into that. Timestamp. What is it? Brass Birmingham is a Euro game, one of the best known Euro games from Martin Wallace, published by Roxley, with a revamped, deluxe new art, gorgeous visuals. I will say it does have kind of a setup going where, let me see if I can show this. So this is the board. And it has a flip side to it. This, which is the exact same board, just different art. This is kind of like the daytime art. And this is the nighttime art. I kind of like the moody blues and oranges of the nighttime, so that's what I typically use. It also, once again, reminds me of kind of the grimy world of Peaky Blinders, which takes place in Birmingham initially. Spoilers. Yeah, so that's what it is. It's a Euro game. This is a deluxe edition of it. It comes with, the new revamped art, the fantastic pieces. It comes with the iron clays, which I want to get a larger set of these, not for board game use, but I didn't say it. I didn't say it, Sebastian. I want to get a bigger set to play poker with because I miss poker. Man, I miss poker. I haven't played poker since the pandemic. This makes me really sad. I like poker. Anyways, this deluxe edition of it comes with really big player boards. Once again, double-sided, daytime, nighttime. And everybody has the same player boards, and you all have the same stuff on them, and you unload a lot of tiles onto this when you start your game, and then over the course of the game, you build them and put them out on the map. If you have not played Brass Birmingham or Brass Lancashire, then you would not know it. But it has two eras: the canal era, and then the rail era. The canal era, and then the rail era. And so it splits it in two halves, and in those two halves you have separate scoring periods, and some of the stuff is wiped off, and then anything of a certain industry level and above stays on the table, which is good because it means you get to score it twice. And then, the canals go away and you don't use those. and then you use rails, and so you use trains in the industrial period. Yeah, so Martin Wallace with Matt Tolman and Gavin Brown. I don't like being sick. That's what it is. It's a game for 2 to 4 players. It takes 1 to 2 hours. And it's one of the highest rated Euro games and just plain games, period. Timestamp. Why I have it. I have it because I started to review games for Game Tyrant, then later the Quackalope blog. Then there's been a period of time now in which, before this, I wasn't reviewing games, really. I was doing them occasionally on the Quackalope blog, but I was also just doing other stuff with Jesse and Shira, and I didn't, my duties changed, and I wasn't working for Game Tyrant anymore, and the Quackalope blog wasn't my main focus. So reviews recently have been less frequent, or more infrequent, one of those. But now that I have my own channel, I can put reviews up on this channel, and then also I can still write reviews and put them up on the Quackalope blog. I just have done that less. I have done that intermittently. Words and how to use them. That's why I have it. When did I get it? I either got this right at the end of my time in Texas or at the beginning of my time in Arkansas, because my first time playing these were in Arkansas. Like the second time, like the last 2 years. So it was either at the very beginning of my time here, because that's when I played it, or it was at the very end of my time in Texas, and I just hadn't had the opportunity to play it until I brought it here. That's when I got it. What I like about it. I like a lot of things about it. I like the freedom of the player to decide what industries they want to work within. I like the idea that the industry tiles of coal and iron that you get, you can take advantage, you can build them for the sake of building tiles and getting them off your player board and scoring points. You can also play them with the intention of examining how resources are scarce or overflowing in the game and adjust what you build based off of that. Because if you ever build it like resource tiles like coal or iron, and the market supply that's on the board is dwindling, you actually autofill your coal and your iron from those spots to the market, which then pays you for that, and then you flip your tile, which is how you get it to the victory point side. So there's a lot of clever, manipulation and trying to build things at the certain times. I also like the integration of the beer mechanic, which is not in Lancaster, and how, beer is a commodity or a resource or thing that needs to be used at certain times to be able to flip certain tiles, because, beer was the water purity was not the best back then. And so beer was actually the safest thing to drink. So workers would drink beer, and it was, a lot of times maybe more diluted than it is now and wasn't as potent of a alcohol content, but it was like one of the main things people would drink. People would drink beer. And so its integration into the game is interesting historically and also mechanically. I like it. And it, exists in those markets. You can also put in your own breweries. So the player decision space in Birmingham is fun. One thing that I don't like, which is not really a section in here, but it's something I talk about in this section, is I did not super much enjoy this at 4 players. It felt very slow. Part of it was the fact that 2 people were learning the game for the first time, and we were playing it at night, and people got tired. I'm kind of a night owl, so I don't usually get tired at night. But other people did. But it just wasn't, it felt really slow at 4. I think 3 would be a solid choice. I think 3 would be a fun experience to try out. But I have really enjoyed it at 2. I've played it several times at 2, and I like it a lot at 2. It's fun. So I would play this at 2 and 3. I don't think I would play it at 4 again. Unless we just got to the point where the people who were playing all knew it really well and we moved really quickly. Sure, I'd play it at 4. Because at 4, you do get a lot more interaction on the map. At like 2 and 3, they lock off certain parts of the board, which I think is smart. I think that not enough games constrict space per player count. You know, you got stuff like Tapestry, which has a different size for the amount of people you've got on it. You've got games like Birmingham and Brass, or Brass Birmingham, that constricts it based off of player. And Game of Thrones needed to do that more than it did. It's another video and another time to talk about that game. But I don't think enough games adjust the board space for player count. And this one does, and I appreciate that. But I still think doing it at 2 and 3 players would be fun. So 2 was fun. I think 3 would be fun. It's a player count I haven't explored yet, but I think it would be good. Otherwise, though, I mean, I think the production is beautiful. I think everything that Roxley puts out, it just looks great. You know, Super Motherlode, cool visual game. Dice Throne, gorgeous production, super fun game. Brass, Birmingham, and Lancaster, great games. Radlands just came out, beautiful production. Everything they touch, I think, looks beautiful. So I like that about it as well. What do I like about it? I have said that stuff. I will move on. Timestamp. Will it leave? No. This is, to me, a modern classic of a Euro. I love the re-implementation or re-visualization, reimagining of it from Roxley. And it, you know, I'm not typically a Euro player. I tend to lean more towards Ameritrash or, you know, heavy player interaction, you know, variable strategy, asymmetric, dice rolling clashes. I like those games. But I really enjoy Brass Birmingham, so it's not going anywhere. This is to me kind of like a staple Euro that I love that is staying in my collection. It's not going anywhere. I got rid of Lancaster because I felt like it wasn't necessary to have both of them. Even though Lancaster is also a beautiful production and a wonderful game. I just didn't feel a need to have it. But this is not going anywhere. Timestamp. Would you like it? Ooh, I think so. I think this one is a pretty... Keep in mind that we're going to have the caveat that any recommendation I have is want to be a failure, because even if I get someone that has a lot of game tastes in common with me, there are going to be those moments where we don't overlap. So even with someone that I'm fairly confident on, I can still swing and miss. So just keep in mind that I could swing and miss anytime I open my mouth. But I would say for the games that I like, if I also like this, then I think that it has a good amount of appeal to a wide group of player types. Now, if you like lighter games, like holistically, if most of your collection is lighter games, like party games or small box games, or just games that mechanically aren't as dense, then yeah, you might not like this game. But if you're coming at it from a genre perspective of what you typically jump into and prefer, I think that this sits nicely at a place where it will entice people of a lot of different preferences of the games that they want in their collection and the games that they like to table. I think this is super solid. I would love to see a digital implementation of Brass. Direwolf Digital, looking at you, master of... Asmodee is like hit and miss. They have good, like they did Gloomhaven, and they did well with it. I don't know if they were the overall digital developers though. I just know that they were the people behind it, like at the top. But yeah, I would love to see a digital implementation of this, and maybe some other Euros that would maybe give me more access to them. But yeah, I'd love to be able to play this on my phone and get more time with it. But Yeah, I think you would like it for the most part. Oh, timestamp rating 8.5. I think another 8.5 for me. This is another really solid game that I enjoy a lot. I don't know how much when I do the ratings on here, they're somewhat out of thin air. So I think they mostly correlate with what I say on BGG. They're close-ish, but yeah, 8.5. I think this is a really good game. It's not the kind of game that's a 9 or a 10 that it's like when people come over, I'm like clamoring to play it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, can we please bring out Brass Birmingham? But it's a game where every time I do get out to play, I'm very happy with the experience, and so it's a super solid play for me. 8.5 for sure. Timestamp. I've got to develop some outro for this. I don't have an outro. So I'm just gonna like look at you weirdly for a moment. Also, I'm a little like fidgety right now because I really have to pee. So I just wanted to get to the end of the episode so that I could pee. Episode. Video? Episode. Whatever. I'm gonna pee. So bye.